You know, it's movies like this that make me tell people, you have that weird idea for like a movie or TV show that you just think is not going to work with people. Trust me when I say it will, because they made this.
There's a young man. I talked to him. I wish I was with you. That's really weird, Lisa.
Lisa Frankenstein comes to us from acclaimed writer Diablo Cody and new director Zelda Williams, and is about a misunderstood teenager and her high school crush who just happens to be a handsome corpse. What the fuck? And after a set of playfully horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two embark on a murderous journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts along the way. So funny story, my cousin was over here earlier, and I told her I was going to see this movie, and her first thought in mind when I told her the plot was, that sounds interesting. I mean, what other way could you put it? So truth be told, I saw a trailer for this somewhat, and I say somewhat because the theater I work at has this TV that plays all the new trailers just without the audio. But going into this movie, I had no idea what I was going to think about it, and coming out of it, people, what the fuck do I say about this? Well, I'll start with saying this. If you thought Poor Things was an insane Frankenstein story, okay, Lisa Frankenstein is not as crazy as that, and there's definitely not as much sex as there is in that movie. But this is still fucking insane. I will say that your opinion on this movie is really gonna depend on what you thought about the trailer. If you liked the trailer and are interested in its insane premise, then you'll probably enjoy this. If you didn't care much about the trailer like me, this probably isn't for you. But as for me, I thought it was a movie that I saw, and oh Jesus fucking Christ, I have no idea what the hell I just watched, and I don't know what to say about it. And it's not like I don't like insane ideas like this. I usually eat up stuff like this, and I love explaining it to people afterwards. But I don't know what it was. This just really did not work for me. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a few things I didn't really like and appreciate. I am a huge fan of the 80s, and anytime there's a movie or show that takes place in the 80s like Stranger Things, I'm always gonna love that aspect about it, and the entire aesthetic and look of this film really worked for me. And I don't know if anyone else is gonna think the exact same thing as me, but this is basically E.T. with a reanimated corpse, which is kind of a funny idea. Kathryn Newton did a pretty good job as Lisa, and you can tell she really enjoyed making this movie. But probably the biggest problem for me is that I just found it kind of boring. The entire time I was watching this, I was just sitting there squirming and thought maybe something would happen that would grab my attention quickly. One of the murders definitely did that, and some of the things the corpse would do woke me up, but besides that, there really wasn't much that grabbed me. This is also sold as a horror comedy, and I just never found it that funny. Every once in a while I may have gotten a little chuckle from the corpse, but that was about it, and I never really laughed once. I also have not the slightest clue what this is going to do at the box office, because this really feels like one of those movies that I would see at an independent theater that would be released by a company like A24 or Neon. But even if it doesn't do that great, this is definitely one I could see getting some kind of cult following in the future. So the best thing I can say about this movie is exactly what I said about the Mean Girls musical. It's not for me, but I'd probably rather rewatch Mean Girls. So some of you are probably wondering, am I at least glad I saw it? Sure. It's something I definitely wanted to watch on my own time, but I'm glad I at least gave it a shot. My recommendation is to proceed with caution, and I don't mean that in the same way when I said that about Beau is Afraid. Some of you might end up enjoying this, while others might agree with what I had to say, or just not like it at all. In other words, have your own opinion, and if this does end up getting a cult following after a while, then I'm cool with that. I'm gonna give Lisa Frankenstein a C+, which seems to be the grade I've been given a lot recently. Oh, and yes, I am aware there's some kind of Peppa Pig movie out in theaters. I'm not going to see that. I want to keep some of my dignity. You know, unless this video gets over 1,000 views and 1,000 likes, but I know that's not going to happen, so I'm not seeing Peppa's, whatever it's called, Peppa Pig the movie. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell. I'll be back later with more reviews. See you then.